Mental strength is not built in crowds. It is built in quiet rooms, in early mornings, in late nights. Most people fear being alone. They fill silence with noise. They avoid their own thoughts. This audiobook removes that escape. You will learn to use solitude, not as isolation, but as training. Strength is built when no one is watching. Chapter 1. Stop escaping silence. Silence exposes you. It removes distraction. It removes performance. It removes the ability to pretend. What remains is you, your thoughts, your impulses, your discomfort, your lack of control. Most people run from this. They reach for noise. They reach for scrolling. They reach for conversation, entertainment, updates, stimulation. Anything to avoid being alone with their own mind. But you are here for training. And silence is training. When the sound disappears, your weaknesses speak. You notice restlessness. You notice anxiety. You notice unfinished emotions demanding attention. Good. Now you can work. If you never enter silence, you never see the problem. If you never see the problem, you never improve. You have a choice. You can keep anesthetizing yourself with constant input, or you can sit still long enough to become stronger. That's the key. Strength is built through exposure, not avoidance. When you sit in silence, you meet the part of you that wants escape, the part that demands comfort, the part that hates stillness. Look at it carefully. It has been running your life. Every impulse to check your phone, every urge to open another tab, every need to be entertained. That is not freedom, that is dependence. And dependence keeps you weak. Silence interrupts dependence. Here, there is nothing to grab, nothing to consume, nothing to hide behind, only awareness. At first, awareness feels unpleasant. Your mind jumps, it complains, it negotiates. Just a quick break, just one look. Start tomorrow? No. You stay. I stay present. This is where discipline begins. Not in public, not when others are watching. Here, alone, uncomfortable, you have a choice. Get up and escape, or remain and grow. Every minute you remain, you build authority over yourself. Every minute you remain, impulses lose power. You begin to notice something important. The discomfort rises. Then it falls. It always falls. But if you escape too early, you never learn this. You train yourself to believe discomfort is permanent. It is not. It is a wave. And your job is simple. Do not move. I do not escape. You breathe, you observe, you allow the urge to exist without obeying it. That is power. Most people have never practiced this. They obey immediately. Notification, reaction, boredom, re-emotion. Reaction, no space, no control. Silence creates the space. In that space you choose. That's the key. Choice is built in quiet moments, not loud ones. If you cannot sit with yourself for 10 minutes, you will not stand strong in difficulty for 10 seconds. Read that again inside your mind. Your tolerance for silence predicts your tolerance for pressure. So we train it daily. Not once, not when convenient. Daily, you sit without stimulation. No messages. No background noise. Just you and the mind you must learn to command. At first, you will discover chaos. Good. Now it can be organized. You cannot discipline what you refuse to face. You have a choice. Face it now in silence, or face it later in failure. Silence is cheaper. Silence is controlled difficulty. Life will eventually give you uncontrolled difficulty. Better to prepare. You don't need their permission. You do not need society to approve your quiet time. You do not need others to understand why you withdraw. This is internal conditioning. This is mental training, professional, serious, necessary. You are building the ability to remain steady without external support. Think about the advantage. While others panic without stimulation, you remain calm. While others reach for distraction, you stay with the task. While others avoid themselves, you know yourself. Because you sat in silence. Again and again. It's not dramatic. It's not glamorous. It's repetitive exposure. It's not about comfort. It's about discipline. Comfort will tell you to leave. Discipline tells you to stay. One builds weakness. The other builds command. I stay present. Say it internally when the urge appears, when boredom arrives, when restlessness demands action. I stay present. You are teaching the nervous system stability. You are reducing dependency on novelty. You are increasing tolerance for reality. These are elite traits, but they begin very small. One quiet session. One refusal to escape. One victory no one sees. Do not underestimate invisible work. The mind keeps score. Each time you remain, future resistance becomes easier. Each time you leave, future resistance becomes harder. You are always training something. You have a choice. Train avoidance or train strength. Silence is the training ground. And eventually something shifts. You stop fearing your thoughts. You stop reacting to every impulse. You gain distance from emotion. Now you are operating. Now you are capable of control. That's the key. Not eliminating discomfort, outlasting it. Remember the reinforcement. Silence is training. I do not escape. I stay present. Repeat them until they become identity. Because the person who can remain still can remain strong anywhere. Here is the takeaway. If you want authority over your life, you must first earn authority over your attention. And that begins by sitting in silence without running. Master this room, and you prepare yourself for every other room. Chapter 2. Train without an audience. Effort does not require witnesses. Read that again in your mind. Effort does not require witnesses. Most people perform improvement. They announce it. They display it. They hint at it. They want to be seen trying. But trying is not the goal. Change is the goal. And change happens whether anyone is watching or not. You have been trained to associate visibility with value. If it isn't posted, it doesn't count. If it isn't praised, it feels empty. This is dependence. Dependence on attention. Dependence on approval. Dependence on applause. Dependence makes you fragile. Remove the audience, and motivation disappears. That is not strength. That is performance. You are here to build something different. You are here to build private authority. I work unseen. Say it again. I work unseen. When no one is watching, truth appears. Your real standards show up. Your real discipline shows up. Because now there is no reward except progress. That's the key. If progress is not enough, you are not serious yet. The ego wants recognition. The ego wants credit. The ego wants others to confirm importance. But growth requires subtraction of ego. You do the work. Repeatedly. No announcement, no signal, no celebration, just execution. You have a choice. Chase validation or build capacity. One gives you a feeling. The other gives you power. Feelings fade fast. Capacity remains. Understand the trap. When you share the intention, you often steal energy from the action. You feel productive without producing. You feel advanced without advancing. The brain accepts attention as a substitute for achievement. And you stay the same, so we remove the substitute. Validation is unnecessary. Let those words settle. Unnecessary. Not forbidden, not evil. Simply irrelevant to the mission. If praise comes, fine. If it doesn't, fine. Your behavior does not change. Because your standard is internal now. This is maturity. A mature worker does not require supervision. A mature mind does not require encouragement. It understands responsibility. You said you wanted to improve. Good, then improve. Without broadcasting. Without dramatizing. Without building an identity around effort. Effort is normal. Effort is expected. Effort is baseline. Why would baseline behavior deserve applause? You brush your teeth without posting it. You breathe without announcing it. Work should become like that. Automatic, private, non-negotiable. Progress is private. When something is private, it becomes protected. It grows without interference. It grows without comparison. It grows without pressure to impress. You are free to be bad at first. You are free to struggle. You are free to be invisible while improving. This freedom is powerful. Public growth is often distorted growth. It bends toward approval. It chases reactions. Private growth bends toward truth. What actually works? What actually improves skill? What actually builds endurance? You have a choice. Work for the mirror or work for the mission. The mirror asks, how do I look? The mission asks, am I better? Different questions, different outcomes. I work unseen. When you wake up early, when you repeat drills, when you practice fundamentals, no one needs to know. Your future will reveal it. Let results speak at the proper time. Rushing to be recognized early usually means arriving unprepared later. Patience. You are investing in inevitability, and inevitability is built in silence and privacy. It's not about comfort. It's about discipline. Comfort wants appreciation. Discipline wants completion. Choose completion. Another danger of the audience is negotiation. If people are watching, you want to look good. You avoid difficulty, you avoid failure. You protect reputation. But reputation does not build skill. Struggle builds skill. Correction builds skill. Repetition builds skill. And these are easier when nobody is there to judge. So use invisibility. It is an advantage. While others wait to be noticed, you are accumulating ability. While others craft an image, you are crafting competence. Years later, the difference will be obvious. But today, it will be quiet. That is fine. Validation is unnecessary. Your approval must come from execution. Did you complete the work? Did you keep the promise to yourself? If yes, continue. If not, correct it tomorrow. Simple. No emotion required. You don't need their permission. You do not need permission to improve privately. You do not need agreement to raise your standards. You decide, you act. End of discussion. Notice what begins to happen as you detach from the audience. You become consistent. Because the schedule is no longer tied to attention. It is tied to identity, and identity travels with you everywhere. Public motivation disappears. Private commitment remains. That's the key. Anyone can work hard when celebrated. Few can work hard when ignored. Become one of the few. Say the reinforcements again. I work unseen. Validation is unnecessary. Progress is private. Repeat them until they feel normal. Until anonymity feels natural. Until silence around your effort feels expected. This is how professionals operate. They prepare out of sight. They refine without drama. They arrive ready. No explanation needed. Here is the takeaway. If your effort depends on being noticed, your discipline is not real yet. Real discipline survives invisibility. Practice building without witnesses, and you will develop strength that cannot be taken away. In the next chapter, we will remove another dependency, the need to feel ready before you begin. Shikar 3. Confront yourself without distraction. Core lesson. Growth requires honest self-observation. Behavior change reflect daily without music, phone, or input. Reinforcement phrases. I face myself. No distractions. Clarity comes. Chapter 3. Confront yourself without distraction. Improvement begins with accuracy. If you cannot see yourself clearly, you cannot change yourself effectively. Most people never reach accuracy. They stay busy. They stay stimulated. They stay surrounded by input. Noise becomes protection. Because when the noise is gone, evaluation begins. An evaluation can be uncomfortable, so they avoid it. But you are not here to avoid. You are here to advance. That requires honest self-observation. I face myself. Say it slowly in your mind. I face myself. No distraction. No filter. No excuse. Just facts. What did you do well? What did you avoid? Where did you break promises? Where were you strong? You must look directly. Without softening the picture, you have a choice. Protect your feelings, or improve your results. You already know which path leads forward. That's the key. Clarity first. Adjustment second. Never reverse the order. People try to fix their lives without seeing them. They guess. They assume. They blame. But guessing is not discipline. Observation is discipline. When you remove music, remove scrolling, remove background entertainment, the mind becomes visible. Patterns appear. You notice repeated thoughts, repeated fears, repeated rationalizations. Now you are working with real material. Before this moment, you were working with imagination, no distractions. Distraction is the enemy of awareness. It keeps you reacting instead of reflecting. It keeps you occupied instead of improving. Understand something important. Your mind will try to escape this practice. It will say reflection is unnecessary. It will say you already know yourself. It will say thinking about behavior is negative. These are defenses. They exist to keep habits alive. Habits survive in darkness. They weaken under inspection, so you turn on the light daily. At a fixed time, you sit and review. Calmly, directly, without drama, I face myself. If you were lazy, admit it. If you were distracted, admit it. If you delayed, admit it. No punishment, no story, just recognition. Because recognition creates options. Once you see the behavior, you can interrupt the behavior. If you refuse to see it, you repeat it. You have a choice. Or conscious correction. The disciplined mind chooses correction. And correction requires detail. Not general statements like, I need to be better. How? Where exactly? At what time? Under what conditions? Specific awareness produces specific improvement. That's the key. Vague reflection creates vague growth. You are building precision. You are studying yourself like a professional studies performance. What triggers weakness? What supports strength? What environments reduce focus? What routines improve it? Write it down mentally, record it. You are collecting intelligence on yourself. This becomes strategy. Without distraction, patterns become obvious. You notice how often you negotiate with commitments. You notice how mood influences action. You notice how easily attention drifts. Good. Now nothing is hidden. Clarity comes. Not always pleasant, but always useful. Remember, the goal is not comfort. It's not about comfort. It's about discipline. Comfort avoids self-examination. Discipline requires it. You cannot outrun what you refuse to name, so name it calmly. Without exaggeration, without mercy. Truth is efficient. The faster you accept it, the faster you improve it. Many people fear that honest reflection will damage confidence. The opposite is true. False confidence is fragile. Real confidence is informed. When you know your weaknesses, you can plan for them. When you can plan for them, they stop surprising you. Now you are stable. Now you are prepared. No distractions. Remove the phone. Remove the audio. Remove the input. Let the mind stand on its own. At first it may wander. Bring it back to review. What happened to win? Where did you fail? Simple. Repeat daily. Consistency makes the mirror clearer. I face myself. Over time, emotional resistance drops. You become matter of fact about flaws. This is strength, no panic, no denial, just adjustment. Professionals live this way. They analyze performance without flinching. They correct without self-pity. They return to work. You are becoming one of them. You don't need their permission. No one has to approve your standards. No one has to agree with your evaluation. This is between you and reality. And reality is honest whether you are or not. Better to match it. Clarity comes. With clarity, priorities sharpen. Energy is directed properly. Time is used intelligently. Because you finally see what matters. Here is the reinforcement again. I face myself. No distractions. Clarity comes. Memorize it. Use it. Live it. Here is the takeaway. The quality of your future depends on the honesty of your self-assessment today. Look directly. See accurately. Then act with precision. Chapter 4. Build discipline in quiet hours. Your character is revealed when the world goes silent. Not during busy hours. Not when expectations are loud. Not when people are watching. In the margins. Early morning. Late night. That is where the truth lives. Off hours remove supervision. They remove pressure. They remove external structure. What remains is self-command. Quiet hours build strength. During these periods, no one is asking you to act. No one is reminding you of your goals. No one is measuring your effort. So the question becomes simple. Will you show up anyway? I show up alone. Say it again internally. I show up alone. This is where identity is formed. Anyone can function when pushed. Few can operate when left to themselves. But the ones who can separate from the crowd permanently, because they are self-propelled. You have a choice. Obey mood, or obey commitment. Mood changes with the weather. Commitment survives it. That's the key. When the alarm sounds early or fatigue whispers late, your training begins. The mind immediately searches for negotiation. Rest more. Skip today. Make it easier. You will hear these voices clearly in quiet hours. Good, now you can defeat them clearly. If life were always loud, you would never notice how quickly you compromise. Silence exposes compromise, and exposure allows correction. It's not about comfort, it's about discipline. Comfort wants sleep. Comfort wants delay. Comfort wants relief. Discipline wants execution. One voice must win. Decide which one represents your future. Quiet hours build strength. Because they demand self-initiation. You move without applause. You act without energy. You begin without excitement. This is rare, and rarity creates advantage. While others wait to feel ready, you are already in motion. Hours accumulate, repetitions accumulate, competence accumulates. They will notice later. But the foundation was laid in private. I show up alone. There is dignity in this. You are keeping a contract with yourself. You said you would rise. You rise. You said you would work. You work. Simple behavior. Powerful consequence. Every fulfilled promise strengthens identity. Every broken promise weakens it. You are always voting for the type of person you become. Consistency matters. Not intensity, not drama. Consistency. Especially when conditions are quiet and optional. Anyone can produce a burst of effort. Few can repeat effort when nothing is forcing them. That is why quiet hours are priceless. They are pure, no interference, no distraction, no performance. Just you and the standard. You have a choice. Lower the standard when no one will know, or maintain it because you will know. The discipline, choose the second path, because self-respect is built internally, and self-respect becomes unshakable confidence. If you can trust yourself in private, you will trust yourself in public. That's the key. Private reliability produces public strength. Morning is powerful because resistance is high. Night is powerful because fatigue is real. Both create friction. Friction develops toughness. Remove friction and you remain soft. So you intentionally enter the difficult edge of the day. You wake before comfort completes its argument, or you continue after comfort recommends stopping. Not recklessly, but deliberately. You are expanding capacity. Quiet hours build strength. In these moments, excuses are loud. But so is opportunity. Each decision is magnified. If you act, momentum begins early. If you delay, weakness begins early. Choose carefully. I show up alone. There will be mornings where you feel ordinary. There will be nights where you feel depleted. Show up anyway. Because discipline is not a performance based on emotion. It is a contract based on decision. You don't need their permission. No one needs to approve your schedule. No one needs to understand why you rise early or continue late. You are building durability. Durability is invisible at first, then undeniable. Think long-term. One quiet morning is small, 1,000 are transformational. One disciplined night is minor. Years of them create mastery. This is mathematics, not magic. Consistency matters. Repeat the behavior until it becomes identity. Repeat the identity until it becomes reputation. But never reverse the order. Identity first. Recognition later. And recognition is optional. Your real reward is capability. Say the reinforcements again. Quiet hours build strength. I show up alone. Consistency matters. Let them guide behavior when motivation disappears. Because motivation will disappear, routine must remain. Here is the takeaway. If you win the hours that are easiest to waste, you will dominate the hours that matter most. Train yourself to act without pressure, and pressure will never control you. Chapter 5. Strengthen thought through solitude. A crowded mind cannot think clearly. If input never stops, understanding never begins. Most people live in permanent reception, messages, voices, opinions, headlines, constant occupation. Very little thinking. Thinking requires space. Space appears in solitude. Solitude sharpens thought. Without interruption, the mind begins to organize itself. Noise settles, important problems rise, unnecessary ones fade, but you must allow the process. And that requires stepping away. Walk alone. Sit alone. Travel a short distance without filling the silence. No audio, no conversation, no checking, just movement and awareness. You will feel resistance. The brain is addicted to stimulation. It wants novelty. It wants to be fed. Do not feed it. Let it work. You have a choice. Consume or understand. One fills time. The other builds intelligence. That's the key. When you walk in solitude, unfinished thoughts surface. Questions appear. Priorities rearrange. At first it can feel messy. Good, you are finally seeing the material. Most confusion exists because people never pause long enough to examine it. They drown clarity in entertainment. You will do the opposite. You will create silence long enough for order to form. Solitude sharpens thought. Think of a shaken glass of water. If you keep shaking it, set it down, it clears. Your mind operates the same way. Constant engagement is shaking. Solitude is settling. My mind settles. Repeat it when impatience rises. My mind settles. You are not wasting time. You are processing reality. This makes future decisions faster and more accurate. Because you already sorted the noise. People who avoid solitude often live reactively. Every issue feels urgent. Every emotion feels important. There is no hierarchy. But hierarchy is born in quiet evaluation. What truly matters? What can wait? What deserves energy? You answer these questions while alone, not while scrolling. You don't need their permission. You are allowed to disappear for a period. You are allowed to be unavailable. You are allowed to protect mental space. This is not withdrawal. This is maintenance. Your mind is equipment. Equipment requires care. Without solitude, it overheats. With solitude, it stabilizes. Clarity grows. Notice what happens during uninterrupted walking. Ideas connect. Memories return. Lessons become obvious. Solutions often arrive quietly without force, but only when there is room for them. You cannot hear insight if noise is always speaking. You have a choice. Fill every gap or leave space for intelligence. Leave space. That is where advantage hides. It's not about comfort. It's about discipline. Comfort wants entertainment during the walk. Discipline wants awareness. Comfort wants company. Discipline wants reflection. Choose reflection. In solitude, you meet your own patterns of thought. You see where negativity repeats. You see where fear exaggerates. You see where you drift. This is valuable information. Because what is seen can be trained. I face myself. You learned that earlier. Now you are expanding it. You are not only seeing behavior. You are seeing thinking. Thought creates behavior. Improve thought, and action improves naturally. Solitude sharpens thought. You begin to speak to yourself more clearly. Instructions become simple. Direction becomes firm. Less debate, more decision. Why? Because the clutter has been reduced. My mind settles. When the mind settles, emotional reactivity drops. You stop chasing every irritation. You stop amplifying minor issues. You conserve energy. Conserved energy becomes power. And power allows sustained effort. This is how quiet thinking improves visible performance. Most people never connect the two. They chase tactics. They ignore mental environment. But environment determines quality. Build the right environment, and quality rises automatically. No distractions, just steps. Breathe. Observation. Let the mind arrange itself. Be patient. At first you might feel unproductive. Stay longer. Soon you will realize this is some of the most productive time in your day. Because it prevents mistakes. It prevents confusion. It prevents wasted effort. Clarity grows. And with clarity, confidence becomes rational. You know why you are acting. You know what you are ignoring. You know where you are going. Uncertainty decreases. All because you walked alone. Say the reinforcements again. Solitude sharpens thought. My mind settles. Clarity grows. Let them guide you when the urge for distraction appears. Because distraction will always offer immediate relief. But relief is temporary. Understanding lasts. Here is the takeaway. If you want better decisions, create better thinking conditions. Step away regularly. Walk without interruption. Let the mind clear itself. From that clarity, intelligent action becomes inevitable. Chapter 6. Remove the need for constant connection. Constant connection feels safe. Someone is always there. A response is always available. A voice can always be reached. But safety is not strength, and comfort is not resilience. If you require contact in order to remain steady, you are not steady yet. Dependence hides fragility. Take away the replies. Take away the updates. Take away the reassurance. What happens to your state? For many, anxiety rises immediately. Restlessness begins. The urge to reach out becomes powerful. This is exposure. Now you see the attachment. Good. You cannot strengthen what you refuse to admit. I am self-contained. Say it internally. I am self-contained. This means your stability does not come from others. It comes from within. Others can add to your life. They cannot be required for you to function. That's the key. Optional connection is healthy. Required connection is weakness. You have a choice. Build internal sufficiency, or reinforce emotional dependency. Every time you interrupt discomfort by contacting someone, you teach the mind that solitude is dangerous, so it fears being alone. Fear grows. Soon silence feels unbearable. You already know where that path leads. We reverse it. You allow distance. You allow unanswered time. You allow yourself to solve emotional waves independently. No immediate relief. You breathe. You regulate. Strength grows. Connection is optional. Let that sentence free you. Optional means welcome but not required. Valuable but not essential. You can appreciate people deeply without leaning on them for stability. In fact, relationships improve when neediness disappears. Why? Because interaction becomes choice, not desperation. You arrive with fullness instead of demand. But first you must practice standing alone. I stand alone. Not in hostility. Not in isolation from the world. In capability. You can handle emotion without broadcasting it. You can handle boredom without escaping it. You can handle uncertainty without immediate reassurance. This is adulthood of the mind. Most never reach it, because the world makes connection instant. Immediate replies. Continuous access, no waiting, no self-soothing. So resilience atrophies. You are here to rebuild it. You have a choice. Reach outward at the first sign of discomfort, or stabilize inward. Inward stabilization builds permanent strength. Outward relief builds temporary calm. Temporary calm creates long-term weakness. Understand the trade. When you constantly message, constantly check, constantly update, your attention fragments. Depth disappears. You become reactive to every vibration. This is not control, this is captivity. It's not about comfort. It's about discipline. Comfort wants instant response. Discipline tolerates delay. Comfort wants to be held. Discipline stands upright. Choose upright. There will be moments when you want to share every step, every thought, every emotion. Ask yourself, can I carry this alone for a while? Often the answer is yes. And when you carry it, capacity expands. You become heavier duty. I am self-contained. You are learning to generate reassurance internally, through logic, through breathing, through perspective. You remind yourself, this will pass. I can manage it. I remain functional. Simple statements, huge effect. Now independence grows. People begin to trust you more. Why? Because you are not constantly collapsing into them. You bring strength to the interaction. But again, the benefit comes later. Right now, training is quiet. You sit with your own experience. You allow emotional weather to move through you, without immediately calling for rescue. You don't need their permission. You do not need approval to be strong internally. You do not need agreement to reduce availability. Protecting your independence is responsible behavior. Notice what increases as dependence decreases. Focus, calm, self-respect. Because you proved to yourself that you can endure. And endurance builds confidence that cannot be given by another person. Connection is optional. Say it again, optional. You can reach out later. You can talk later. You can share later. But first, you stabilize yourself. That priority changes everything. I stand alone. When you practice this repeatedly, panic reduces. You no longer fear temporary separation. You know you can hold the line. That's the key. Internal strength before external contact. From this order comes maturity. From maturity comes reliability, and reliable people lead. Repeat the reinforcements. I am self-contained. Connection is optional. I stand alone. Use them whenever urgency tries to control you. Because urgency is often just habit. You are breaking the habit. Here is the takeaway. If you can remain stable without immediate connection, you become powerful in every environment. Practice independence until it feels normal. Let contact become a bonus, not a necessity. Chapter 7. Develop emotional self-reliance. Emotions are not instructions, they are signals. If you treat every signal as a command, your life becomes chaotic. Up and down, forward and backward, reaction after reaction. Strength requires something else. Regulation. I regulate myself. Say it clearly in your mind. I regulate myself. No one else is responsible for stabilizing you. They can support you. They can listen. But first, you must be able to hold yourself steady. That is maturity. Without it, pressure exposes you. Small events become large crises. Minor discomfort becomes emergency. Because the internal system has never been trained. You are going to train it now. You have a choice. Discharge emotion immediately, or contain it long enough to understand it. Containment builds power. That's the key. When something triggers you, pause. Do not speak yet. Do not message yet. Do not broadcast yet. Breathe, feel the sensation in the body. Notice the speed of the thoughts. Watch the impulse to react. This is where growth happens. Most people never reach this moment. They explode. They vent. They complain. They transfer discomfort outward. Temporary relief. Permanent weakness. Because nothing inside improved. I do not outsource strength. Repeat it. I do not outsource strength. If another person must calm you every time, what happens when they are unavailable? Instability. So you become available to yourself. You slow breathing. You reduce exaggeration. You challenge catastrophic thinking. You say, I can handle this. And you stay with the wave. Waves rise, waves fall. You learned that earlier. Now you apply it emotionally. It's not about comfort. It's about discipline. Comfort wants immediate unloading. Discipline wants understanding. Understanding gives you control. Control creates dignity. Imagine being someone who can feel anger without becoming destructive. Who can feel sadness without collapsing? Who can feel stress without spreading it? That person is powerful, and power is quiet. I stay grounded. Grounded means connected to reality. Not imagination, not assumption. What actually happened? What part is interpretation? Separate the two. Often emotion grows from the story, not the event. So you correct the story, calmly. Without drama, you are becoming a regulator, a stabilizer. People will begin to experience safety around you. Because you are not volatile. But again, this reward comes later. First comes the work, processing alone. You sit with feeling. You label it accurately. You allow it to move. No performance, no audience. Just competence. You have a choice. Be impressive in expression, or be impressive in control. Choose control. Control lasts longer. When you regulate internally, something important happens. Response quality improves. Instead of reacting fast, you respond correctly. This changes relationships. This changes outcomes. This changes reputation. Because people trust stability. I regulate myself. You might still decide to share later. That is fine. But when you share, you speak from clarity, not chaos. You explain instead of accuse. You describe instead of blame. Now communication builds connection instead of damaging it. This is emotional leadership, and leadership always begins privately. You don't need their permission. No one needs to authorize you to become steadier. No one needs to approve your pause. Take it, protect it, use it. At first, holding emotion will feel unnatural. You are used to immediate release. Stay with the practice. Soon you will notice recovery becomes faster. Intensity becomes manageable. Fear becomes information instead of threat. Clarity increases. And when clarity increases, confidence becomes rational. You know you can handle yourself. That knowledge is unbreakable. I do not outsource strength. Let others add warmth to your life, not structure. Structure comes from you. Your breathing, your thinking, your decision to remain upright. I stay grounded, feet on the floor, attention in the present. Voice steady, no dramatization, just deliberate control. Professionals operate like this. They feel everything. They leak nothing unnecessary. They choose timing. They choose action. You are becoming one of them. Repeat the reinforcements. I regulate myself. I do not outsource strength. I stay grounded. Use them during activation. Use them during pressure. Use them until they become automatic. Here is the takeaway. If you can manage your emotional state without immediate rescue, you become someone the world can rely on. Stability is rare. Train it daily. Chapter 8. Use loneliness as resistance. Training loneliness is not damage. It is exposure. Exposure to emptiness. Exposure to craving. Exposure to your desire to be filled by something outside you. Most people interpret this feeling as danger, so they rush to remove it. They call someone. They scroll. They turn on noise. Anything to escape the sensation. But escape prevents development. And you are here to develop. Discomfort strengthens me. Say it clearly. Discomfort strengthens me. If you stay with the feeling without fleeing, capacity increases. If you flee, dependence increases. That's the trade. You have a choice. Temporary relief or permanent growth. Growth requires time under tension. Loneliness is emotional tension, so you use it. Instead of interpreting it as rejection, you interpret it as training. Now the meaning changes. When meaning changes, endurance rises. I endure quietly. No dramatics, no self-pity, no exaggeration, just awareness and breath. The sensation may feel heavy. It may feel hollow. It may feel long. Stay anyway. Because waves move. They crest. They dissolve. If you remain present, you will watch the transformation occur. This builds unshakable confidence. You learn from experience that you can survive internal weather. Very few people know this. They assume feelings are permanent. They assume discomfort must be eliminated. So they remain fragile. You will become durable. It's not about comfort. It's about discipline. Comfort demands immediate connection. Discipline builds internal companionship. You become someone who can sit with yourself without panic. That is rare strength. Loneliness often reveals something deeper. Your relationship with yourself. If you dislike your own company, silence will feel unbearable. Good. Now you know where to work. You begin building respect for yourself through kept promises, through daily discipline, through honest reflection. Soon your own presence becomes steadier. You are no longer trying to escape you. I grow steadier. Yes. Steadiness is built exactly here. Not in excitement, not in celebration, in emptiness. Because emptiness forces you to supply structure. What do you think about? How do you sit? What direction do you choose next? You become the provider. This is adulthood of character. You have a choice. Wait to be rescued from loneliness, or become capable within it. Capability wins every time. Understand this clearly. The goal is not to remove connection from life. The goal is to remove desperation. Connection chosen freely is powerful. Connection needed for survival is weakness. So you practice survival alone short periods, then longer. Each session expands tolerance. Discomfort strengthens me. Repeat it when the urge to reach outward spikes. Feel your feet. Notice your breathing. Let time pass. You are doing real work. Invisible, but permanent. Every minute endured rewires identity. You become someone who can remain. Remaining is power. Most people leave themselves at the first sign of difficulty. You will stay. I endure quietly. No announcement is required. No one needs to congratulate you for emotional stability. Stability is expected. You are raising yourself to expectation. Soon you will notice interesting changes. Neediness decreases. Patience increases. Observation improves. You begin to understand others better because you understand isolation. Compassion grows from strength, not weakness. I grow steadier. Steadier in emotion. steadier in behavior. Consistency becomes natural. Why? Because panic no longer drives decisions. You proved you can tolerate emptiness. If you can tolerate emptiness, you can tolerate almost anything. That's the key. Loneliness stops being an enemy and becomes equipment. A weight you lift. Lift it often, and you become strong. Avoid it, and you remain small. You don't need their permission. You do not need approval to build resilience. You do not need witnesses to endure. This is private construction, and private construction creates public capability. Remember the reinforcement phrases. Discomfort strengthens me. I endure quietly. I grow steadier. Use them when the room feels too silent. Use them when the absence feels loud. Stay. Let the training complete its work. Here is the takeaway. If you can sit with loneliness without escaping, you build a nervous system that does not beg. And a person who does not beg can choose wisely. Chapter 9. Become comfortable being unseen. Attention is addictive. It feels like progress. It feels like validation. It feels like proof that you matter. But attention can become interference. Because when you chase it, you start adjusting behavior to receive it. Now the mission bends. Standards change. Authenticity fades. Performance replaces practice, and growth slows down. Ego loves an audience. Discipline does not require one. I do not perform. Say it internally. I do not perform. This is a declaration of independence from applause. If no one notices, you continue. If no one comments, you continue. If no one understands, you continue. Because continuation is the goal. That's the key. The ego wants to be seen improving. Strength wants to actually improve. Different priorities. You have a choice. Look impressive or become capable. Choose capability. Capability survives silence. When attention disappears, insecurity may rise. You may wonder if the work still counts. It does. Results are not created by observation. They are created by repetition, and repetition is usually invisible. Most of the foundation of excellence is hidden, so invisibility is normal. Why expect celebration for normal conditions? You are training maturity. Mature effort is quiet. It does not ask to be noticed. It asks to be completed. My work stands. Whether praised or ignored, it stands. Whether recognized early or late, it stands. Because quality does not depend on witnesses. Quality depends on execution. Detach from the scoreboard of attention. Return to the scoreboard of accuracy. Did you follow the plan? Did you maintain the standard? Did you finish what you started? If yes, proceed. If not, correct. Simple. You do not need emotional payment for responsibility. Responsibility is the requirement. Many people secretly hope effort will make them visible. When visibility does not come, they quit. This reveals the truth. They were never committed to growth. They were committed to recognition. Recognition is unstable fuel. Remove it and motivation collapses. You will build a different fuel source. Identity. You act because this is who you are, seen or unseen. I remain focused. Focus is easier without performance. When you stop imagining observers, attention returns to the task. Details improve. Patience increases. Learning accelerates. Why? Because energy is no longer spent managing image. Image management is exhausting. Let it go. You have a choice: protect reputation or build reality. Reality always wins long term. Ego fears being overlooked, but being overlooked is often the perfect training environment. No pressure to impress. No rush to appear advanced. You can be a beginner in peace. You can correct mistakes privately. You can build depth. Depth requires time without interruption from praise or criticism, so invisibility is useful. It allows honest work. High performance invites comparison. Comparison breeds insecurity. Insecurity creates hesitation. Now progress slows. Step out of the cycle. Work because it is your responsibility to improve. Nothing more. Nothing less. It's not about comfort, it's about discipline. Comfort wants acknowledgement. Discipline wants completion. Completion builds trust in yourself. Trust becomes quiet confidence. And quiet confidence does not beg to be seen. You don't need their permission. No one has to validate your path. No one has to understand your silence. You are building something that will speak later. Let it remain quiet while it forms. Notice the relief that comes when you release the audience. You can move at the correct speed. You can struggle without embarrassment. You can experiment honestly. Freedom increases. I remain focused. The task becomes central again. You repeat. You improve. Day after day. No announcement required. At some point, results may appear publicly. People may call it sudden. You will know it was slow. Built in rooms where no one looked. That knowledge is satisfying. Because it is true. Repeat the reinforcements. I do not perform. My work stands. I remain focused. Use them whenever the urge to display progress appears. Return to the process. The process is loyal to those who respect it. Here is the takeaway. If your effort continues even when invisible, your foundation becomes unstoppable. Learn to love unseen work. It is where real power is created. Chapter 10. Carry solitude into the world you have practiced alone. You sat in silence. You worked without an audience. You endured discomfort. You regulated emotion. Now the test changes. Can you keep that stability when the world becomes loud again? Because anyone can feel centered in isolation, mastery is remaining centered in company. Inner solitude must travel with you. I carry quiet strength. Say it in your mind. I carry quiet strength. This means your calm is portable. It does not depend on environment. It does not disappear in conversation. It stays. Most people lose themselves around others. Energy shifts. Opinions pressure them. Moods spread quickly. They absorb everything. Now their state belongs to the room. That is weakness. Your state must belong to you. That's the key. When you enter a group, notice the pull, the urge to impress, the urge to agree, the urge to react emotionally. See it. Then remain grounded. You have a choice. Merge with the noise, or maintain position. Maintain position. You can listen without surrendering balance. You can engage without losing clarity. You can participate without dissolving identity. This is controlled presence. Noise does not move me. Repeat it when volume increases. Noise does not move me. Someone is upset. Someone is excited. Someone is dramatic. You observe. But you do not automatically join. Why? Because reaction is expensive. Every emotional shift consumes energy. If you shift constantly, you become tired and unfocused. So you choose stability. It's not about comfort. It's about discipline. Comfort wants approval from the group. Discipline wants alignment with principle. Principle remains steady. The crowd changes every hour. Follow the crowd and you become inconsistent. Follow principle and you become reliable. Reliable people lead. Remember what solitude taught you. You can sit with discomfort. You can wait. You can observe impulses without obeying them. Now you apply those skills socially. Someone challenges you. Pause. Someone praises you. Pause. Someone provokes you. Pause. In the pause, you remain owner of your behavior. I remain centered. Centered means you know who you are before entering the room. If identity depends on reaction, others will control you. If identity is internal, you remain free. You don't need their permission. You do not need approval to stay calm. You do not need agreement to remain measured. Let others move quickly. You move deliberately. Deliberate movement signals confidence. Fast reactions often signal insecurity. When you stop chasing acceptance, your presence changes. You become harder to push, harder to manipulate, harder to distract. Because your anchor is internal. I carry quiet strength. This strength is not loud. It does not argue unnecessarily. It does not try to win attention. It simply holds position. People will feel it. They may not understand it, but they will notice it. Calm is influential. Panic spreads. So does steadiness. Be the steady one. You have a choice. Add turbulence or reduce it. Reducing it requires control of yourself first. Control radiates outward. Noise does not move me. Say it when conversation becomes chaotic. Say it when emotions rise in others. Let them have their experience. You maintain yours. This is emotional independence in motion. It took training to build. Now it becomes visible. But you are not performing it, you are simply being it. That is authenticity. I remain centered, feet stable, breath even, mind clear. You respond with intention, not speed, not pressure. Intention. This protects relationships, it protects decision-making, it protects energy. Because you are no longer leaking yourself into every situation. You stay contained, and containment creates strength. Remember the progression: silence, then solitude, then self-reliance, now integration. Your private discipline becomes public composure. That's the evolution. Many people can pretend calm for a moment. Few can sustain it naturally. You can sustain it because you practiced when no one was there. Repeat the reinforcements. I carry quiet strength. Noise does not move me. I remain centered. Use them as you walk into rooms. Use them before conversations. Use them when tension rises. They will hold you steady. Here is the takeaway. If you can keep your internal order while surrounded by external disorder, you become a stabilizing force in every environment. And a stabilizing force is rare, trusted, and powerful. Suseg's strength does not announce itself. It does not need company. It is built quietly, repeatedly alone. From now on, do not fear solitude. Use it. Stand alone with your thoughts. Train without applause. Grow without witnesses. That is real mental strength.